Emulation is a grey area of gaming. To some, it is no better than piracy, but to others, it is a real driving force in their choice to game on the PC platform. Today, however, I'm going to be going over my beliefs about emulation. Note that I won't really be talking about the legalities of emulation. However, Bullet Barry has a great video that goes in depth to talk about how emulation, when done right, can be legal. There will be a link to that video in the description of this video. But to me, emulation is perfectly fine. So far, I've only emulated one game, and that is Twilight Princess. Now, some people may tell me that it is stealing from Nintendo. And that could be a valid argument, except for the fact that not only do I own a Wii myself, but I also own a copy of Twilight Princess for that system. This is because, in my opinion, if you own the console and the game, then you own the rights to play said game on the platform of your choice. And for me, and many others, that platform is PC. So, you may be asking, does that mean that if I want to emulate a game I do not own, I have to go and buy the game first before I can emulate it legally? And really, it depends upon how old that game is. If it is a current generation game, then yes, you should own the console and the game before you can emulate it, if you can even find a current gen emulator. But if it is a game from a past generation that can only be bought second hand, then things do get a little more tricky. Buying a game second hand does not help the original developer of that game like buying a game first hand would. None of the money exchanged in a second hand purchase of any kind goes back to the original creator. You don't buy a second hand graphics card and expect to pay a premium to Nvidia or AMD. Companies only make money on the initial purchase, so if you were forced to go and buy a game second hand so that you can buy a game second hand so that you can feel right in emulating it, just realize that you didn't help the original developer of that game. I mean, whether you buy that game second hand or don't buy it at all, no money is going to be going to the original creator. I can already hear you in the comments saying that I just contradicted myself. I stated that owning Twilight Princess allows me to emulate it legally. But then I also stated that it doesn't matter if you buy the game second hand or don't buy it at all. See, this is where it gets tricky. To me, I'll always try to buy a game second hand before I emulate it. If it is impossible to find said game, then I'm fine with emulating it without owning the game. To others though, they may just emulate any game they want without bothering to buy it second hand, and that is fine too. In the end, it all comes down to your conscience. Do you feel right in playing this game for free? If you have doubts about the legalities of what you are doing, then I encourage you to follow your conscience. I mean, it's there for a reason. Some people may ask me why, if I already own a Wii and the Wii game, why I don't just play the game on the Wii. And I always reply with, because I am a PC gamer. I like to tinker, to change things. I like seeing how far I can push a game until I achieve top visuals. Playing Twilight Princess on the Wii in 560i is fine for some, but for me, I would much rather play it in 1080p or even 4K. The options are limitless. For me, I installed a shader pack and a texture pack for Twilight Princess the moment I began emulating it. The footage you are seeing right now is from my tinkered game, and I can tell you that it looks far better than any version of Twilight Princess that you can find today. The beauty of PC is that you are free to tinker and free to create. You aren't locked behind DRMs or restrictive software or hardware like consoles are. I can play any game, any way that I want, and in the end, isn't that really what emulation is for? To me, emulation is not playing a paid game for free. Rather, it is playing the best possible version of a game. And that's what it should be to everyone.